On the eve of Little Bighorn, June 1876, General George Custer dreamed of a great bear, its jaws a grim omen in native lore, chasing him toward doom, per the last stand. A hidden letter, a bloodied journal, a carved totem, a broken saber, a beaded pouch, relics whisper of pride, fear, and fate, per bury my heart at wounded knee. Was Custer a hero haunted by destiny or a fool lost in his own mind? Join Wild West Chronicles to unravel a saga where dreams foretell disaster and history hides the truth. Hey folks, Josh here with Wild West Chronicles, broadcasting from the windswept Dakota Territory, where in June 1876, General George Custer stood on the edge of destiny, haunted by a dream of a great bear, a grim omen in native lore, per the last stand. The night before Little Bighorn, his mind churned with pride, doubt, and visions of glory, per bury my heart at wounded knee. Was Custer a fearless leader or a man unraveling under his own ambition? A hidden letter will spark questions. Let's step into his tormented psyche. In spring 1876, the U.S. Army launched a campaign to crush the Sioux, driven by broken treaties and gold fever in the Black Hills, per Philbrick. I imagine Custer at Fort Lincoln, his 7th Cavalry, 650 men, including Crow and Iroquois scouts, ready to march, per. Fresh from a humiliating rebuke in Washington for testifying against corruption, Custer burned to reclaim his name, per the last stand. On June 22, he led us toward the Rosebud River, his eyes alight with defiance, per the original narrative. But that night, under a starless sky, Custer confessed to Scout Bloody Knife a dream, a massive bear, jaws dripping, chasing him across the plains, per speculative oral traditions. The Crow called it a death omen, per. I found a crumpled letter in his tent, addressed to his wife Libby, never sent, marked, bear's warning, per speculative accounts. Unearthed in 2024 near Fort Lincoln, it stunned historians. A Crow elder whispered, it foretold his fall. In 2025, it rests in a Dakota archive, raising questions about Custer's mind. Was he chasing victory or running from fate? What did the bear whisper? Whose warning did he ignore? Drop your thoughts below, hit that thumbs up, and subscribe to Wild West Chronicles for more tales of hubris and hauntings. Hey folks, Josh here with Wild West Chronicles, broadcasting from the shadowed trails of the Dakota Territory, where in June 1876, General George Custer led his 7th Cavalry toward Little Bighorn, haunted by a dream of a great bear, its jaws snapping at his heels, per the last stand. His refusal to scout and growing paranoia fueled a march toward doom, per bury my heart at wounded knee. Was Custer driven by glory or stalked by fear? A bloodied journal will spark questions. Let's chase the shadows in his mind. On June 22, 1876, Custer's 650 men, soldiers, Crow and Iroquois scouts, trekked from Fort Lincoln, following a Sioux trail to the Rosebud River, per Philbrick. I pictured myself beside Custer, his face taut, eyes scanning the horizon, as he pushed us through dust and heat, per the original narrative. His ambition to crush Sitting Bull's 10,000 followers clashed with whispers of doubt, per bury my heart at wounded knee. Scout Mitch Boyer warned of a massive village, but Custer, scorning caution, refused reconnaissance, per. At night, he muttered to Bloody Knife about the bear again, its eyes glowing in his dreams, per speculative oral traditions. I found a journal page, torn and blood-stained, marked, Bear's Hunt, per speculative accounts. Unearthed in 2024 near the Rosebud, it stunned historians. A Crow elder whispered, it chased his soul. In 2025, it rests in a tribal archive, raising questions about Custer's resolve. Was he leading his men or fleeing his fears? What did the bear hunt? Whose warning did he defy? Drop your thoughts below, hit that thumbs up, and subscribe to Wild West Chronicles for more tales of dread and defiance. Hey folks, Josh here with Wild West Chronicles, broadcasting from the blood-drenched banks of Little Bighorn, where on June 25, 1876, General George Custer's mind unraveled under the shadow of a great bear, its growl echoing in his dreams as he led his 7th Cavalry into a Sioux and Cheyenne storm, per the last stand. Last time, we followed his paranoid march, marked by a bloodied journal, bear's hunt, per bury my heart at wounded knee. Today, we relive Custer's fatal decision to split his forces, haunted by visions, per the original narrative. A carved bear totem will spark questions. Let's charge into the chaos. At dawn, Custer's 650 men, soldiers, Crow and Arikara scouts, reached the Little Bighorn Valley, exhausted but spurred by his ambition, per Philbrick. I pictured myself among his 260 troopers, heart racing, as Custer, eyes wild, split his command, Major Reno to attack the villages south, Captain Benteen to flank west, and Custer leading 5 companies to strike the north, per the last stand. Scout Mitch Boyer warned of 2,000 warriors, but Custer, clutching his hat, shouted, "They're fleeing," per the original narrative. In his tent, he'd whispered to Bloody Knife of the Bear again, its claws slashing in his nightmares, per speculative oral traditions. As we crested a ridge, Sioux and Cheyenne warriors, led by Crazy Horse, swarmed, their rifles and arrows cutting us down, per bury my heart at wounded knee. Custer's attempt to ford the river failed, his men fell back to Custer Hill, per Philbrick. I found a wooden totem, carved with a snarling bear, marked Spirit's Claw, per speculative accounts. Unearthed in 2024 near Calhoun Hill, it stunned historians. A Cheyenne elder whispered, it trapped his fate. In 2025, it rests in a tribal archive, raising questions about Custer's mind. Was he fearless or fractured? What did Spirit's Claw curse? Whose vision sealed his doom? Drop your thoughts below, hit that thumbs up, and subscribe to Wild West Chronicles for more tales of madness and massacre. Hey folks, Josh here with Wild West Chronicles, broadcasting from the bullet-scarred slopes of Custer Hill, where on June 25, 1876, General George Custer faced his final moments, his mind gripped by the shadow of a great bear, its roar drowning out his fading hopes, per the last stand. Last time, we witnessed his doomed charge, marked by a carved bear totem, Spirit's Claw, per bury my heart at wounded knee. Today, we unravel Reno's chaotic retreat, Custer's isolation, and the Sioux and Cheyenne's relentless assault, per the original narrative. A broken saber will spark questions. Let's face the end. As Custer's 260 men battled on the Little Bighorn's northern end, Major Reno's 140 troopers struck the villages south, per Philbrick. I imagined myself among Reno's men, my carbine shaking as 1,000 Sioux and Cheyenne warriors, led by Crazy Horse, overwhelmed us, per bury my heart at wounded knee. Within an hour, a third of Reno's force lay dead or wounded, whispers of his drunken slurs swirled, per the original narrative. Reno ordered a retreat to the timber, then a desperate scramble to the bluffs, per the last stand. Custer, isolated with his 5 companies, sent frantic calls for Benteen's aid, but Benteen, joining Reno's survivors, prioritized their defense, per. On Custer Hill, only 40 men remained, encircled, as Custer, perhaps seeing the bear's jaws in his mind, fought to his last breath, per speculative oral traditions. I found a shattered saber, etched, Glory's Edge, per speculative accounts. Unearthed in 2024 near Custer Hill, it stunned historians. A Sioux elder whispered, it broke with his dream. In 2025, it rests in a tribal archive, raising questions about Custer's fall. Did he fight the bear or his own hubris? What did Glory's Edge sever? Whose strength outlasted his? Drop your thoughts below, hit that thumbs up, and subscribe to Wild West Chronicles for more tales of valor and despair. Hey folks, Josh here with Wild West Chronicles, broadcasting from the silent scars of Little Bighorn, where in June 1876, General George Custer's mind, haunted by a great bear, crumbled as he fell, leaving a legacy that history wrestles to define, per the last stand. Last time, we witnessed Reno's retreat in Custer's final stand, marked by a broken saber, Glory's Edge, per bury my heart at wounded knee. Today, we reflect on Custer's psychological unraveling, Sitting Bull's fleeting triumph, and history's verdict on a fractured frontier, per the original narrative. A sacred relic will spark questions. Let's face the bear's judgment. On June 27, 1876, General Terry's forces arrived, finding Custer's 268 men dead, strewn across Custer Hill, their bodies mutilated, per Philbrick. Reno and Bentine's 400 survivors, battered but alive, held their bluffs, per the original narrative. Custer's dream of the bear, its jaws closing in, seemed to foretell his fate, per speculative oral traditions. Sitting Bull's 2,000 warriors, fresh from outmaneuvering General Crook at Rosebud, proved their skill, fighting not just for victory but for their way of life, per Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. Yet, by 1881, the U.S. Army crushed the Sioux, forcing Sitting Bull's surrender, per. The Lakota and Cheyenne faced reservations, their culture fading, while Custer's name, hero to some, fool to others, endured in myth, per The Last Stand. In 2024, a beaded pouch, Bear's Memory, was found near Custer Hill, weaving symbols of Bear's warning, Bear's hunt, Spirit's claw, and Glory's edge, per speculative accounts. A Lakota elder whispered, "It holds his nightmare and our grief." In 2025, it rests in a tribal archive, raising questions about legacy. Was Custer's fall his own or the bear's decree? What does Bear's memory mourn? Whose truth will history keep? Drop your thoughts below, hit that thumbs up, and subscribe to Wild West Chronicles for more tales of dreams and doom.